It's not working.
Well,
Stop it.
Well, we'll see what works here in game number 2.
It's not going to work if they do it in game 2.
Well, we'll see if it does.
1. We just saw all the games this week. The only thing that's worked there so far, and it didn't really work, was Kamazots by Funball.
And Vote played Zots 2 as well.
He's a rival.
So they can do it?
I mean, to be fair, like I was going to say CLG can do it too, but no, they can't.
We've seen the Nuwa very successful in the hands of Emilito for energy.
Nuwa is not the warrior. That's the difference. I'm not complaining about the mages. I'm not complaining about the assassins. I'm just not warriors. Just not warriors. It's not working. That's my argument.
I think the game is more nuanced than warrior mage.
Oh, can we notice, by the way, best Achilles player in the world has been confirmed this week.
Weekend?
Benji. Benji is 2 wins out of 2 games on Achilles. No other pro has made this god look so good.
2 for Tuesday. Look at that
I
one.
believe it's 3, 4, 8.
Well,
3 wins, 8 losses so far for week 1.
well, across the way, Janus, first choice overall for CLG. Love this choice. You are giving Hurriwind one of, I think, his best gods. Janus does the offensive and the utility well, and Hurriwind is a guy that I think kind of balances in between that world. The Janus going to be supplemented by a Jing.
It's going solo.
Oh, that's what you're doing? You're happy about the hunters?
Yeah, I'm just happy it's not a warrior. Like, when you see a hunter get locked in, you know it's going duo. That's the main thing. Like,
Sure.
It's very rare that you're going to see a hunter in
Or
the
mid.
solo lane. Well, with a Janus there, I'm not worried. Oh, God, it could be Janus, Fafnir, and Joe. No, with a Jingway. With a Jingway, Fafnir.
Cherio has played Janus Jungle.
I know, that's okay.
Besides the point, though, eUnited have drafted Hachiman, Hercules, and Soul, and I think that Hercules in the hands of Benji is one of the tougher to beat characters.
Sure, I do like the fact that CLG have actually got a proper duo lane this time. Fafnir, Jingway together, very strong.
Jokes aside,
Yeah, jokes aside.
all tongue out of the cheek, do you sincerely believe that the Jingway is the fix for CLG here?
On its own, no. I just think having a ranged character to deal ranged damage against other ranged characters would be very beneficial.
So now I'm interested. Now I'm sort of along the ride because that like I said, warriors to open-ended, right? Now you're talking about ranged. Now I can see that.
I never got right down the rabbit hole because I didn't get a chance to on this, but I was like, just stop the warrior for plenty of reasons. Osiris, interesting.
Oh, am I going to do the analysis on that one now?
No, I was actually going to break it down some more. You go, why are you saying about the Osiris? But you didn't because, you're just like, well, should I be talking about this? Now you can talk about it.
So why do you say about the Osiris?
Well, interestingly enough, it's not often we see Osiris in the solo lane these days. However, his matchup against Hercules specifically is actually quite interesting because of the anti-heal versus heal mentality and the tether reducing damage of the driving strike and the earthquake. Not only that, but the boulder too.
I think Jingwei's going to go solo, and we're going to see Osiris in the duel lane. I'm just kidding, but I would.
You win 2-0.
I would pay Jigz to put that warrior in the duel lane for me. Bastet, the final selection for eUnited. Love this choice. It's one of the more devastating options for Scream over there in the jungle. CLG eUnited.
I want a game 3. I'm actually going to call CLG here because I actually think they have played well this year. This week, not so good, but maybe this is the one where things could go back to normal.
For me, I'm all about the right side of the matchup. I think that Jeskai aggro is going to take it. Let's toss it over to the casters. It's aggro, and it's John Finch.
Who?
Thank you, Tom. It's John Finch with just 1-0 and aggro as well. We're going to be talking about game 2 here right now. eUnited up against CLG. Couple of interesting picks. The Osiris, the Bastet. Lot to kind of unpack here.
But for the love of God, finally, eUnited has to play against a hunter in the duel lane.
Yeah.
A much better change here for CLG. And look, this composition is pretty good, and I was really favoring CLG at first. But man, then I saw that Bastet get locked in for Scream, and he played so well on that god in Season 4 Worlds. And I feel like Bastet just got better during Season 5. So if I'm CLG, I'm looking out for that.
Yeah, Bastet feels like one of those early game do a bunch of damage assassins. And if there's ever a time for a safe early game do a bunch of damage assassin, it's Season 5. What about you, Mixer Chad? Was that enough to sway you over to eUnited's side, or are CLG going to bounce back and take it to Game 3? Please vote for us in the poll, and we'd like to know what you think.
Wait, are we an option to vote for in the poll?
Yeah, vote for literally Finch and aggro to win this game.
I feel like that'd be a good pick. I feel like we are going to win this game. I'm feeling good about our personal draft. You know, I drafted this tie, so that puts us in a really good position.
Right.
Our jackets have some synergy as well. I feel like we're a great pick in this poll.
I'm just going to affirm the things you say as Game 2 is ready to get started up. Aggro's tie, take it away.
Do you want me to move the mic down? It doesn't really reach that well.
I thought maybe you had like a tie voice on tap.
Normally I probably would, but I sound so much like SpongeBob
sure.
as it is that I don't want to.
Sorry for throwing you under the bus, by the way.
No, you know, it's I kind of live under there at this point. I cast with Graham so often that I may as well set up a
that's
tent.
just Graham's thing, though. He's like the savage guy.
Yeah, that's kind of how people know him.
Right.
He just says a lot of savage stuff.
Yeah, that's just,
sure.
it's not, I mean, that's just, it's his thing.
It's his bit, yeah, for sure.
Right. Well, we are going to take a look at his Scream, who's going to be playing the Bastet in the jungle, as we expected, so that'll be getting off to a good start for him. fineokay. Going to be taking the Osiris in. And he's going to be starting off with the tier 1 of the breastplate here, which you don't always see, and going with the chalice. Sometimes you see those potions picked up in that slot instead.
Could have been an early little health pot lead, as you were mentioning, or trying to work towards a gladiator shield early on. A lot of times if solo laners want to go for gladiator shield, they won't start with that breastplate 1, but could be turning into an early hide of the Nemean Lion, or just really looking for some dedicated physical defense. Gladiator Shield gives you that, but it's not as much as you probably would like against something like a Bastet that can burn you down very, very quickly once she hits level 5. And I love this decision by Homiefe to go for the blink because of the lack of hard CC on eUnited side, and because of how much CLG has available on their end. Scream even forced into the beads.
And it's very strong. If you can get the blink, fear no evil, like into the back line of a team fight and really start spreading things out. So Homie with an opportunity to make that work for him, as Scream already on the solo jungle side of the map this time. Going to come drop that blue buff for his friend, as opposed to Homie, who's gone right over to those right side Harpies.
Hercules much more blue buff dependent than a god like Osiris, which can really utilize his auto attack chain to clear the way without utilizing any of the mana. Whereas Hercules basically all ability based. So I like that decision from Scream. It does put Benji a little bit behind because he doesn't get to solo down that blue buff like fineokay could have. But it looked like Homie actually went onto that right hand side anyways to find it.
Yeah, they end up splitting it. A little bit of a knock up there into Snoopy, who's happy to jump away, but already low on mana is the hunter for CLG. As we do see that Benji and Aggro did pretty well.
Hell yeah,
all
chat.
Right,
nice voting, 63%. Easy victory for us.
Yeah.
Another easy W.
Yeah, to be fair, I kind of didn't feel like we even need to run it. I was very clear that we were going to win that one.
Well, there's a reason that we only put the 2 teams, because if we put ourselves up there every time, teams would just get sick of voting for us. We just win so often that you're going to get sick of us winning.
It's sort of like how you don't want to give LeBron the MVP anymore, like to bring basketball into an esports conversation. Like, you wouldn't want to keep voting for us, right?
Well, you don't want to watch regular season basketball as it is, because apparently none of the regular season games matter to you.
I'm
sorry,
they do
I
not.
just opened up an old wound.
They do not, by the way.
Benji in some trouble on his right-hand side. Homie finds it slow. Benji's driving strike is down, but it gets a pretty good heal from that mitigate wounds. fineokay is going to need some abilities. I'm not going to find him. A good decision. Homie knows no beads for him. That 2-1 combo from Hercules would have flipped that engagement in eUnited's favor real quick.
Yeah, would have potentially found themselves a kill, but you highlighted it there during the actual fight. That slow off the jump from the Unbots, Homiefe piloting, is so potent, especially against Benji, who's elected for the teleport. Sometimes you see Sprint over there on that side, which can help get out of that situation, but trying to make him get back in the lane a little bit easier made him easier to gank that time. They don't find a kill, but they find a lot of pressure for fineokay.
But because that pressure's on the right-hand side, eUnited knows they're free to pressure on the left themselves. Ganesha and Hachiman steal away the purple buff of CLG, who, again, just a little bit behind in this lane to begin the game. This seems to be becoming a trend, especially for teams that are playing against eUnited. PandaCat and PBM seem to get the better end of almost every dual lane they play against these days.
Yes, a stronger dual lane pair it would be hard to find than PandaCat and PolarBearMike right now. These two definitely are on the same page and know exactly what each other wants to do when they're inside that dual lane, and it's worked out well for them. Snoopy and Jigz, though, not really a strange pair to each other either. Just got to get a little bit more warmed up and make sure they're on the same level here as PBM and PandaCat, because...
Well, it's also the picks, right? It's not just player dependent.
Sure.
Fafnir and Jing just far less push power than, say, the Hachiman and the Ganesha, both of whom bring really, really good damage to the wave that can secure that push power in your favor.
No, and you got a good point. The Fafnir Jing probably not going to outpush PBM and PandaCat, but I mean, to the point you're making, I mean, PBM and PandaCat seem to find that pressure in just about every game that they're in. So I mean, as much as the picks are a part of it, so too seems to be some of the player skill. As jumping in with a little bit of help here from Screammmmm is going to be eUnited. The silence came out to Snoopy. Now the slow going to be coming from the Cats, but the sprint will help with that, along with the Aegis. And using those portals to get out of there, but it's actually right toward Venenu, who can't find it.
Oh, man, if Ven just went the other way on that little rock there, a little pavilion. What is that?
It had like a roof, didn't it? It can't be a rock.
No, it's not a rock. That used to be a rock, so I was just kind of on top of it. Is that a little villa right there, would you say?
Maybe that's where the Gold Fury lives. No, there's like a little...
she's got a pit. What do you mean? It's very clear where the Gold Fury lives. This is the neighborhood of the Gold Fury. Like the... I kind of want to call it a pavilion.
Yeah, like the Gold Fury doesn't like, bake its own bread or like do its own taxes, that sort of thing. Like someone's got to live nearby, right? Like to help it out.
Well, you don't have to live right next to your bakery or your CPA. Like,
I think the Gold Fury would like to.
Well, first of all, you really think the Gold Fury pays taxes? Because those fees would be insane with how much gold she has.
Well, I mean, I think she almost has to. It's the other way around. Because of how much gold she has, she certainly has to pay taxes. His homie is very nearly in trouble from the damage from Screammmmm, who can't quite find it on his own, but fineokay certainly was able to find that one. Screammmmm maybe should pay a little more attention to the solo laner. Is going to be able, though, to find fineokay without too much trouble. Using that cat scratch to tick it down. Actually might have turned away too soon. Is going to turn around and now find the kill with the pounce. Eventually is able to get it.
Man, if I would have been able to turn that one around, I would have lost my mind. But that extra physical protection from the Warrior's Blessing and the sustain from it as well. Love that play to understand that that's his best chance of survival. Snoopy able to survive despite the ultimate in from PolarBearMike. PandaCat's ultimate on cooldown as well now. I wonder if did his shot get blocked by the Ganesh pillar? I didn't see that connect on the Jing.
Yeah, I didn't see it connect either, so not able to find that damage was PandaCat, or at least it appeared not able to, and Snoopy is going to be able to get out of there. It was very close, though. The silence was just barely out of range from PolarBearMike, as well as the dash. So the Ganesh, or the Dark Pillars did come out, yes, but PolarBearMike, could he find either one of those lockdowns? That could have been way worse for Snoopy.
Well, I think that's what he was counting on, was the slow from the mounted archery to make sure that both the silence and the dash connected. I wonder, again, I could have just been missed it, and it did connect and still wasn't enough damage, but seemed like Snoopy stayed alive in a situation where eUnited didn't expect him to.
You know who almost stayed alive was fineokay. Screammmmm playing a little loose in the dual lane, but this could potentially be trouble. Homie is on his way to this, blinks in, finds the Fear No Evil, but turns attention towards PBM, trusting Snoopy to find it, and he does with the airstrike. PolarBearMike falls, double kill for Snoopy, plays a hunter, and finds a couple kills.
Perfect rotation by Homie, and I love the play from Jigz and Snoopy. And Jingwei, Fafnir don't bring a lot in terms of push power. We touched on that earlier, but certainly a lot when it comes to kill potential and poke potential. Fafnir Hammer into Persistent Gust is so long to be CC'd in the early game, and with a low health pool, you're immediately in trouble. So as soon as Jigz finds that hammer, PandaCat has to beat and dash away so he doesn't get knocked up and have the chain CC continue. But the sprint, the agility forward by Snoopy, and Homie's in the perfect spot. I mean, his route running, if you will, from mid lane all the way to left, and still manages to cut PandaCat off at the perfect moment right after he used that dash. Perfection from CLG.
And he separates them too. If PolarBearMike even had any abilities up, there really weren't going to be a chance for him to try and help out his hunter, because the Fear No Evil pushed them away from one another, trusting Snoopy to find the airstrike while they able to turn their attention towards Jigz. Perfectly executed gank there by the boys of CLG, going to help them out a lot. And as you mentioned, everything was used by eUnited to try and make the escape. Sprint, another minute on that one. Bees, another 80 seconds. So they're still not going to be entirely safe back in that duo.
Wouldn't be surprised to see Homie just hop on over. Now, this time, Panda does have the ultimate, so mounted archery will get him out of any Hunbatch shenanigans, should Homie show back up without a blink. But even with blink, you could sometimes react to that ultimate, to the blink sound cue, and get yourself out of the ultimate without having to use any beats.
The options there. If he does want to try and get away from Homie, does PandaCat. We're only 8.5 minutes into this one. It feels like, at least pacing-wise, we're a little further along, but A 1,600 gold lead developing for CLG, a 2,000 experience lead starting to come their way. And I don't want to make it sound like I'm too surprised. I mean, coming into today, CLG was one of the top 2 teams. We thought they were right there with Space Station neck and neck. LG comes out, kind of surprises us, possibly even CLG with that win. But now up against eUnited, looks like a bit of a return to form here in Game 2.
Well, CLG struggled against eUnited last week. That was their first matchup, and CLG was undefeated before that game happened, and eUnited looked like themselves again and took it pretty easily. So no surprise that eUnited looks good again against CLG. I wonder if we're going to have the same sort of rock, paper, scissors setup that EU has, where Dignitas, they beat Energy, or no, excuse me, Dignitas beats Rival, Rival beats Energy, Energy beats Dignitas. Wonder if the same sort of rotation is going to form between CLG, who they beat Space Station earlier on, but Space Station beat eUnited, and eUnited beat CLG. So I wonder if it's going to be the same sort of weird triangle of violence that we see in EU.
It's certainly a chance for that to be replicated in NA. To me, it just speaks to how well or how close these teams are, because that's to make no mention to LG, who's clearly showing up, to Trifecta, who've been playing well. Actually, considering how well today's gone, Trifecta's gone a little bit underspoken of as well. They've been looking good too. It's so tight here in NA. Really, it's only Splice who's down at the bottom, and their sets have been competitive. All these teams look so strong right now, Ryan.
The benefits of going to a 6-team SPL, I think, are right in front of your very eyes. Every team has become so competitive. You never know exactly who's going to win, even though the 1 seed versus the 6 seed, you know, top versus bottom, any team could win it. You know, you expect the 1 seed to win, but I think a lot of people expected CLG to win pretty easily against Luminosity today, and that set was over in 2 and wasn't in CLG's favor.
We'll see now who will come out on top here between these two NA powerhouses. So far in this game, 2 looking like CLG, though, are ready to fight one more time. fineokay continues to box it out with Benji. I'm a little more focused over here on the duo side of the map, where 4 members are lurking for CLG. Looking to see if there's anyone they can catch out. Gold Fury's up. They have the damage here from Snoopy if they want to try and go for that, but they just want oracles. They want this vision, and to see if anyone will step a little bit too far out of line.
Wow, that was an opportunity certainly for CLG to get that gold Fury. eUnited a little bit caught a little bit sleeping, it looked like, for a moment there, but that's the benefit that we have as the all-knowing spectator. That we see eUnited not without any ward vision there. We're just heading back to their lanes, not even checking on oracles or gold Fury for that matter. CLG does not have that kind of information, and so getting oracles without any sort of contest, certainly not a bad thing, but I do think that was an opportunity to maybe get themselves a gold Fury.
Scream on this Bastet, though, Ryan. Hold that thought. We might have some action here if Homie recognizes they're here. PolarBearMike goes for the silence, but the Fear No Evil comes out, just trying to get some control. Blinks in. Dharmic Pillars come out to deter them away. Mallet Archery is used, so PandaCat escapes. Not going to be able to hit with the through space in time, but the portal option's there. Instead, Hurry wants to find the portal, forces out the beads, and Panda now is going to be looking to try and fight back in with Scream's help, but a perfect hammer from Jigz shuts that down. Sprint
as well, but Venenu's on the way. PandaCat might have got a little bit too far forward. No, he was all good. Snoopy may not be. He's trying to get away from the damage from the other side, but Hurriwind had another sprint ready.
Airstrike is going to get him out of there. Snoopy, rather. Scream. Gonna try and avoid the unstable vortex damage and cannot. Hurriwind is chunking everybody. PandaCat was forced back and just found good damage on the Scream. Using the portal aggressively, looking for the Bastet yet again. Can't find it, but this time they have Homie here. No ultimate, but he does have the monkey toss. He can follow that one in. Overhead smash, not even going to be needed. Jigz is the one that finds it and puts Scream in the dirt.
Great play by Homie. Uses the Sacred Monkey and then just waits, because Scream, if he jumps away, could teleport. That's exactly what Homie did. Now Scream is hosed no matter what he does. Great rotation in by CLG, and that secondary sprint, I think, really caught eUnited off guard. Of course, Hurriwind is going to hit Aegis as soon as he gets level 12, right? That's what every mage gets. Well, not Hurriwind. He picked up a Phantom earlier today, and now that sprint makes sure his team is nice and safe from those Bastet cats.
And it really looked like CLG was going to be looking for something. They had that grouping in the duo side for a moment. Initially went aggressive on the PBM and PandaCat. They made it out for a moment, but their reinitiation from CLG was good. After Scream committed pretty hard in that duo. And I was just going to ask, I mean, Scream on this Bastet, how well is this Bastet going to do late? Do we need to see more from it right now, or is it still going to be as relevant?
I think it'll still be as relevant. It's a great matchup into the Janus, because Janus gets away with low health so often. Bastet can apply a bleed, especially with Hurriwind not going Aegis, which really does surprise me. I would have a little surprised that fineokay just doesn't get an Aegis for himself, or excuse me, a sprint for the team on his side to make sure that CLG still has 2. But regardless, Bastet late game damage is just insane. Right now is still not the strongest part of Bastet's game at all. As soon as Scream finishes off a Crusher or Jotun's Wrath, it's going to start getting really scary, but the more that he stacks that damage, the easier it's going to be for eUnited to just engage onto Hurriwind very quickly, pop him with that Razor Whip, and just let Scream go to town, either following him through the portals with the pounce or just letting his dot damage do the dirty work for him.
And there's so much mobility on this Bastet pick. So in those late game team fights when she's trying to find the back line, it can be kind of hard to zone her away. PolarBearMike on the Ganesha might be able to do it, but they're on the same squad. So instead, what Jigz got to find one of those hammers, which are notoriously hard to hit. I mean, it's going to be tough to try and get Bastet off of Snoopy, off Hurriwind. They're going to have to try and rely a little bit more on their own getting away ability than the peel.
And there's plenty of mobility, though, for CLG. I mean, through space and time, the portals, you got the double leaps from Fafnir, can leap, transform, leap again. Homie's got Blink and the Sacred Monkey and the Somersault. Snoopy, of course, with Airstrike. So CLG's got plenty of ways to get away from Scream, but you got to do it early on because he, will be able to chase you down if you're a little bit late on those escapes. Bastet pounce. Very, very far range.
It does. I feel like it's such a long range you're trying to get away from that Bastet. So Scream has plenty of ability to cause problems for this CLG roster, even though the start might not be as fast as what CLG have gotten off to. Don't count this Bastet pick out just yet. As Hurriwind rotates back into the mid lane. Has the Soul Gem finished already? Hasn't gone for the Warlock Staff the way that Venenu has. Instead, focusing on a little bit extra cooldown and then getting that burst from the Soul Gem.
It's another reason I'm surprised that Hurriwind doesn't go Aegis, because you could make the argument that if I just stack enough HP, the bleed from Bastet 2 won't be that bad. As Scream almost gets clipped by the through space of time. Believe he did actually, but still able to escape. Had to use the cats, which immediately got blown up. Not sure if that was the Unstable Vortex or the ultimate from Hurriwind that knocked him down, but love the idea there from Hurry.
I know he didn't find the kill, but can we take a moment to reflect on the amount of distance he just covered on this Janus pick? In case you didn't realize just how well Janus gets around, that's how well Janus gets around. It's pretty crazy, actually. Able to go from mid all the way to those back harpies, then come all the way back down near his own tier 1 tower and right back in mid to shoot out more damage.
Yeah, it's fine. What do you mean? He's a mage. Of course he should be able to do that. Mages are number 1, Finch. Come on.
I know you think that.
I know that. Not, he's cool, but not as cool as Zeus. You know, Zeus can kill you from anywhere on the map.
Is that true even?
Yeah, of course. You could run away. You could Athena ult away to your fountain, and you could still get detonated for a kill.
I suppose if you'd already been there, and this Gold Fury is already gone. CLG able to take that one, and eUnited not around. So the clean team play that we saw from eUnited in what actually kind of looked like a dominant performance, nowhere to be found here in Game 1. And think about it, CLG lose that first set, they lose Game 1, and they have regrouped very well here in Game 2.
This is what you need to see from a team that wants to compete for world championships, is the ability to get beat and get beat hard in one game, and then still be able to turn it around and look great the next. That's certainly been CLG, and no surprise to me. Like I thought, it really felt draft dependent in Game 1. Game 2, they stick to their guns, they do what they're good at, and they're playing well.
Through space and time's committed, not going to hit Scream, but gets the whole team here. Fear no evils, going to do all the work that they need. Snoopy is able to find Scream, now using the through space and time. They reposition themselves around the tier 1 tower. More importantly, though, is going to be stripping away this jungle, which they do. They've got a minion wave here if they want to keep pushing as well.
Gold Fury's down, so eUnited not going to lose that, and even their tier 1 tower is still healthy enough. CLG decided to split up and continue farming. They get that pick on the Scream, but it cost them a lot of resources through space and time, airstrike, fear no evil. Those are 3 big ults that CLG didn't want to force the fight with those being down afterwards, but it's just in the name of getting Snoopy ahead and keeping Scream down. Scream a little bit behind still on this Bastet, but Snoopy now up 2 levels, 3-0. 3 of CLG's 5 kills on the Hunter, playing the Hunter.
Seems good. Does playing a Hunter in the Hunter role so far, but to be fair, Snoopy's done a lot of cleaning up of these kills, I might say.
You're saying that Snoopy's been stealing kills?
I would never say that word.
Steal?
Hurriwind, though, going to be forced to use his beads to get away. Getting ticked down pretty low as well, so already on his retreat. Pyromancer was being looked at, but eUnited not going to be able to start that one up. But I would certainly say that Snoopy's coming in, providing that last bit of damage they needed.
Are you calling Evan Jones a kill stealer? Really, Finch? Do you even know Evan Snoopy Man Jones that well to call him that? Like this?
Right here, right now.
My lord.
Calling my man out.
The disrespect. That's messed up, man.
Is able, though, to find plenty of kills here in this game so far as Snoopy. And it's been to his benefit. Level 17 right now in this Jing way. It has been helping him out a lot. Try and get further ahead over this eUnited squad.
Don't try and save it now.
Try and save what?
You called Evan Snoopy Man Jones a kill stealer.
I mean, you keep saying it. I'm kind of thinking it's you. Do you think Evan's a kill stealer?
No, I would have said it myself.
You've said it a bunch.
I've
yet to use those words.
He's playing very well on the Jing way. He's 3-0.
And then with a surprise inflection, oh, he has 3 kills.
No, what? There was no surprise inflection at all. I can barely inflect as it is. I can't breathe, Finch, as you so kindly pointed out to everybody.
Yeah, I just pointed it out. Not only did I point out that you can't breathe, but that Snoopy's taking the kills. I mean,
there it is.
3,000 PD. Not a whole lot. Not a tremendous amount.
It's more than Venenu's got.
That's true. Well, is that true? Yeah, it is true. Yeah, you're
yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Venenu's not stealing anybody's kills by your mind.
I like it. Venenu's got a good guy. Good guy, Venenu.
Typical Finch, man. Just because you can't get any kills, Finch, doesn't mean other people are stealing them from you. I feel like you're projecting right now.
I'm not even in this game.
Yeah, but you're applying your own gaming experiences to how you expect CLG feels, and I don't think that's very warranted.
No, I'm really thankful when the rest of my team get the shots because I almost certainly was not going to. So thank God someone did.
I like this horrific emblem pickup from Jigz because there's only one sprint on the side of eUnited, and even PBM has picked up one for himself. This item just is such an annoyance to deal with. In PBM, I don't know if I love it on him because of the double sprint already picked up by CLG. Maybe the PolarBearMike's trying to force out a sprint usage off of the horrific emblem, which would then open the door for Screammmmm to potentially have more of an impact with those cats. If there was only one sprint, I think, like we see for eUnited, that's why I like it for Jigz. But for the same token, I'm not sure that I'm in love with it here for PBM. Even a shell, maybe not their best option. Meditation, probably not their best option, sitting at level 12. So maybe just a lack of better options. But why not go back towards the Frenzy? I mean, you've got a Soul,
sure.
You've got a Hachiman, you've got a Bastet. Your objective burn is insane if you go back towards that Frenzy pickup. I think I would have just preferred that for PBM.
As much as he was augmenting the rest of his team in Game 1, at least offensively, feels a little bit more defensive from eUnited here in Game 2, and CLG have recognized that and been kind of being the ones that are the aggressors. They're going to continue that right now as the Gold Fury is back up on the map and already down to about half health, but everyone from eUnited is here. This will not be snuck away as Venenu has his ultimate available. Hammer hits PolarBearMike, while fineokay keeps two members busy on the right-hand side, but PBM is already incredibly low, forcing his Dharmic Pillars to get out. Through space and time has been committed from Hurriwind already, but they're just going to turn their attention back towards the gold and try and start this one more time.
Well, PBM's got to go back to base, so there's a 4v5 now in favor of CLG, but Benji's in the front line, and he's not taking any damage these days, man. He's level 20 already. Save could be said for fineokay, though. Neither of these solo laners really concerned about what the opposition is dishing out.
And this is CLG trying to force eUnited into repeated engagements. Gold Fury now well below half, and I don't know if they're going to be able to jump into this one in time. It's going to be up to Screammmmm if it happens. Perfect disengage. Fear No Evil creates the space, and CLG able to take the Gold Fury. Now the fight gets started. Jigz gets pulled back into all the damage of this eUnited, even Supernova, so Venenu is eventually able to find the damage, but one kill for the Gold Fury. CLG still looking good, as long as they don't give up too much more.
Wow, where is eUnited going to go now? Can they try and push down this mid lane tower? They've got great tower push between the Soul and the Hachiman, but could be Pyromancer as well, but watch out for that Lord of the Afterlife. fineokay still has that up and available. Airstrike is ready, and Hurriwind, despite being low on mana, has that through space and time available.
They don't have all the confirm in the world. And that was very close there from fineokay, but not able to take it. eUnited do take the Pyromancer, as well as being able to get Jigz on the backside of that team fight. So you can see that very heavily mitigated that Gold Fury swing that CLG almost got, keeping things basically where they were before the fight started.
Not too much of a difference, though. You can see the CLG is already working towards the ability to disrupt these team fights. Homie's ultimate there, as you called, just creates enough disruption around that Gold Fury to make sure that CLG get it, but clearly Benji is going to be a problem for CLG to deal with. And they don't have a lot of great ways to apply anti-heal to him, at least out of the mid lane. Janus, not very good at applying Divine Ruin because that Unstable Vortex, the main damage ability that he has, really the only damage ability that he's going to be throwing out willy-nilly in the middle of the team fights, doesn't do a great job of hitting multiple people all the time, is inconsistent at even hitting the one target that you want to hit all the time, and you really just want to use it as burst, but Divine Ruin kind of sacrifices some of your burst for that anti-heal capability, so Hurry, forced to pick it up here. It's still not going to do that much to try and burst down Benji, though the Brawler's Beat Stick for Homie I think is the right call, because just dropping Fear No Evil on Benji now anti-heals him for quite a long time and could provide, alongside that Divine Ruin, even with the lack of damage that it's going to help Hurriwind with, those two together will probably be enough to confirm the kill onto Benji. But that's a lot to invest onto just one Osiris, or excuse me, one Hercules that, what if it doesn't get you the kill?
Driving Strike is going to push fineokay away from his team a good bit. Gets pulled back in, but there's a level 20 Osiris who's almost 6 slotted.
Yeah, sick damage, guys.
Yeah, it's just not going to be very much onto this Osiris player. I did want to talk a little bit about some of the differences we're seeing build-wise from the team, from these two hunters. Prioritizing the Executioner right away was PandaCat, but went to Kensize did Snoopy to try and help deal with some of these healthier targets on the side of eUnited.
Well, if you look at the mid laners on the opposing ends, Venenu went for Warlock Staff, so that's going to give him a lot of HP. Kensize better against health than anything else, whereas for eUnited and PandaCat, Hurriwind did not get a Warlock Staff, so doesn't need that extra help against the HP of the enemy mid laner. Just, I think, a good response from both sides. I don't think that either side is, objectively horrible or objectively better. It just kind of fits on who you're going to be hitting a little bit more. And Snoopy has the potential to burst down Venenu very quickly with this chin size. It'll chew through that extra health that he's built and won't really help him quite as much.
Good adjustment from our hunters towards the opponents that they're standing against in the builds they've chosen. Not a big surprise to see it, though, between these two top-end teams. This might be a little surprising, though. fineokay putting a couple hits into the Fire Giant and getting it started up. PolarBearMike's around. Benji's here. But really, that's just about it. All the way on the other side here is Scream of Venenu in mid lane. As the rest of the team turns around and commits through space and time, they want to try and find someone rotating over here towards the Fire Giant. But they weren't able to find anyone. Instead, fineokay does get pushed back by Benji, and eUnited back up.
Like the idea from CLG, checking to see that no one's home for eUnited. 9 times out of 10, someone's walking there to try and defend this Fire Giant. That was just the one time that no one was. But take a look at the minimap. PandaCat still pretty far away from this engagement. Don't know if CLG has time to burn this down by him before he gets there, though.
This one does feel like a little bit more of a commit, though, as half health is the Fire Giant, and Snoopy stays on it. fineokay in the backside. He's trying to keep PolarBearMike and Venenu away from this one, whereas Benji's getting chunked by the hits from Snoopy. Got to make sure he's being careful. With a little bit of help from Venenu, though, he forces Snoopy right on back out of there, who has to jump away. eUnited looking relatively healthy and have forced CLG off this Fire Giant pit.
Still have a lot of ultimates available as well. Dharmic Pillars, Supernova, Boulder, all ready to go for eUnited. So they're going to pull the Fire Giant this time.
They are going to start this one up. Hurriwind's still here, but he's getting forced away by Scream and Benji working together. Dharmic Pillars come out from PolarBearMike to make it a little bit harder to move into the Fire Giant pit as it does get lower and lower. Supernova drops down. That's going to bring Jigz very low as he de-transforms in the middle of everyone. Venenu finds that one. Also very low, and fineokay and PandaCat is happy to give him the last hit that's necessary. Snoopy can't jump in time. eUnited are low. eUnited win the fight, but now they have to disengage.
Man, Snoopy, if he's able to get there in time, that's pentakill territory, dude. Everyone so low, but Homie very low. Still able to avoid that excavate from Benji, getting out of the way of the baseball coming through. Love the play from eUnited to pull the Gold Fury, or the Fire Giant, excuse me, but the teleport in from fineokay, he was back in full HP. He ended up falling, but still is able to distract eUnited long enough to make sure they don't get that Fire Giant, as well as Hurriwind through space and time. It's just one of those abilities that even when the initial burst doesn't do anything for you, the portals are going to remain. And you have to take that into consideration, no matter what you're doing, that someone can come through those portals at any time.
Fight going well for eUnited, but they just were a little bit too low to be able to finish it off. That's not going to deter them from starting up the Fire Giant right here, right now. Homie getting controlled by PolarBearMike as Hurriwind wants to loop around the left-hand side. Doesn't have through space and time available, so he's not going to be the one that makes into the pit, but it could be potentially taken. It isn't. eUnited grab it. Venenu grabs Homie. A kill, and the Fire Giant going the way of eUnited. PBM is low, but I don't think the rest of eUnited really cares very much. They're going to be looking for Snoopy by the way of Benji on the right-hand side, looking for the dash, but right behind him is going to be Venenu. Has to use the Aegis to make it through all that damage, and he does, and they turn back towards the tier 1.
Snoopy tried to use the airstrike to rip away the Fire Giant, but eUnited able to secure it. That's one of those risky calls. It's not quite a 50-50, more like a 60-40, 70-30, but still not guaranteed by any stretch for eUnited. But love the confidence in just saying, we're going for it. We don't care if you're here. We're just going to get this. And not only did they get a couple towers, but they're going to keep going for the Phoenix here.
They certainly are in position to make the attempt happen, but Hurriwind's on the left side looking for the unstable vortex. It does chunk PBM, but Scream is going to jump in and look for him a little bit further. Being forced back now by Jigz, as well as by fineokay. Through space and time comes through, and so does the rest of the damage from Hurriwind. Drops the ultimate, does Venenu. Can't find that one, but PolarBearMike is the one that gets caught out by Snoopy. He looks for the pluck and pulls him into the boulder. Does Benji, but only pulls the team closer to his own backline.
Oh, Scream going in on his Snoopy, but the persistent gust there just in time. Homie's back, has that Fear No Evil still on cooldown, so can't use it. Blinks forward, he's about half his HP immediately. Now has that Fear No Evil up.
Jigz going to try and keep pushing forward, but with that Draconic Corruption running out, he can no longer push in. Only losing PolarBearMike off that one. eUnited take the tier 1, the tier 2, and they also find Snoopy on the backside with Scream wrapping around. That's going to make this one a lot better for them, but fineokay's not done. Looking for more. He goes in aggressive. Able to find some good damage, but eUnited are still ready to try and collapse.
Scream alone. Homie coming, and Scream doesn't have any purification beads. Scream realizes what's happening now, and actually going to jump forward towards the opposition, knowing that he's stuck right now. Nowhere for him to go. Scream will fall to the overhead smash from Homie, and the Pyromancer never really went down. Look at how far down eUnited came to try and help him, potentially, instead of just going for the objective.
Yeah, they were getting zoned away by fineokay there, as now the rest of CLG come in, using it through space and time and trying to help out. eUnited have stuck around, and now the team fight's breaking out. Fear No Evil, and PandaCat's going to be the target. Dharmic Pillars will not save his life. Homie is the one that's going to claim it as he ends up falling. CLG are chipping away at the Fire Giant lead that eUnited just got.
Man, PandaCat didn't realize that Homie and someone else had come through that topside portal all the way up past Fire Giant, and then we're looping around onto him. He was too busy with what fineokay was doing right in front of him. Great loop there by CLG. Good Aegis by PandaCat, who didn't have the beads up to actually stay alive as long as he did, but Homie in the perfect spot on that Hun Batz to make sure he paid.
Gold Fury being looked at by eUnited, but I think that after that Fire Giant, they thought they were more in the lead than they were. CLG are right here, and they're happy to try and contest this Gold Fury. Boulder's going to come over, but not going to be enough. CLG take that Gold Fury and even up the gold lead. Not just even, they take it right back. Again, before that, they were the ones in the lead, and eUnited maybe stepping a little too far out of bounds.
Just that Phoenix push, just too aggressive there for me. I mean, eUnited barely get any damage onto it before they're forced back, and look how many towers are still left up on the map. Instead of just getting themselves a lead, I mean, every tower was standing before eUnited got that Fire Giant, because remember, they got tier 1 and tier 2, I believe, on the right-hand side. So if they just focus on the towers, they get 4,000 gold. 4,000 gold would have put them in the lead.
Sounds good to me.
It also probably finished off every single one of their builds. In fact, it absolutely would have. Only PBM is waiting on its 6th item. Would have let you upgrade relics, possibly get a power potion. These are important little power spikes, but now eUnited has lost the Fire Giant, and all they got out of it was 2,000 gold from the tier 1 and tier 2 in solo.
And they gave CLG a couple kills on the fight on the backside. Through space and time is committed. Benji brought down to half health already by the chunk from Hurriwind inside the Dharmic Pillars and forced to dash right on out of there. PolarBearMike going to use the Ohm to create some space, but Jigz is right here with him to keep it from going any further. Benji has to back. Does have the teleport, but it's not upgraded yet. So unless he chooses to do that, he's going to have to hoof it back in. Comes into the tier 1 tower in mid instead, and Benji right back in the fray. Man,
I love the idea, though, for what CLG's doing. They're just firing off through space and times with reckless abandon. They're just trying to find someone, and, you know, for all the failed ones that we've seen where Hurriwind doesn't really hit anyone, no one's home, doesn't really do a whole lot for CLG, It only takes one of those to go really, really well, and CLG insta-win the game off of it. So I've got no problem taking calculated risks like that. In that situation, clips Benji, puts Homiefe in position. Venenu has to use both his relics in response to Homie's Fear No Evil.
Fire Giants back on the map now, though, Ryan. eUnited are the ones who are aggressively positioned around it and have a chance to try and grab this one for themselves. But they don't feel comfortable going for it yet. Snoopy's here. fineokay's here as well. CLG have plenty of presence. And actually going to start looking at the Pyro to try and force eUnited into the pit. They get vision control as well. Now eUnited going to have to make sure that they have at least one person far enough forward to see what's going on.
Benji has the ultimate available. Didn't steal it last time around. This time he'll pick up and push away fineokay to reset.
That works. The Pyromancer does end up getting reset, but now they're just going to pull it again one more time. This is just the Pyromancer, it's not the Fire Giant, but the fight started anyway. Dharmic Pillars, and Snoopy gets chunked by Scream. Fear No Evils used on the backside by Homie just to try and get him out. Now fineokay forces to use Lord of the Afterlife just for an escape. So far, eUnited have gotten the abilities from CLG to be used very defensively.
Man, that play between Scream and PBM. PBM silences Snoopy to make sure he can't use that agility to get away after knocking himself up. And then the quick reaction from Scream to just pounce back to where he came from to avoid that Fear No Evil. Beautiful play. And that's really important considering, remember, Venenu just lost both of his relics in that last little skirmish on top right. And instead of going for him, Homie just whiffs a Fear No Evil. That could have been used to win the team fight instantly had Venenu fallen to a quick, blink engagement. By the time that Fear No Evil's up, Venenu's going to have his beats up, I think.
Going in one more time is CLG. They're looking for Scream. Can't find Unstable Vortex. Can't find the Hammer. Scream's going to make his way out of there. And you were telling me earlier on that Bastet's damage is going to stay relevant. I think we got to see a hint of that just now as Scream was able to put the hurting onto Snoopy there on the backside of that team fight. So as long as he can find his way in, and he's the one with the damage buff, not Venenu. They kind of switched, it looks like. He's going to be swinging.
Well, Hurriwind swinging as well. Fired on the third space in time, and it almost clips Scream down to 0. Does hit him, and that Unstable Vortex Aegis out, but Hurriwind with the sprint will get himself out of there. Hurry did all that damage by himself. Unstable Vortex in the first half, third space of time to the second.
Scream not going to be a part of this fight as CLG going to take their 5v4 and get this started. No ultimate available for Hurriwind to try and help them out, but eUnited have all the rest of theirs available to them if they want to move in. Not a full commit yet from CLG has knocked up his Jigz. They're trying to force eUnited to step in, and only Benji's the one in front. He walked across that firewall, and CLG are forced to get this one up, and eUnited don't have to commit anything.
Homie lurking on the backside. Watch out for him. Does have Blink Fear No Evil available. eUnited going to pick it up, down to half HP already. fineokay takes very little damage from the pressure from eUnited.
Those crits from Snoopy, though, bring PolarBearMike down to half health, and he's going to keep going. Dharmic Pillar force out,
oh
but
my
the damage
God!
from Scream deletes Snoopy off of the map. 5v4 now in favor of eUnited. Benji is going to chase down Jigz, who's very low. Boulder is going to get that one done. Homie even gets ticked by it as well. 5v3 for eUnited. They turn back towards the Fire Giant. CLG cannot hope to stick around. eUnited turning around just that fast.
What in the world was that damage out of Scream? Now he's looking for the 1v1 against Homie, and he's going to find it all by himself. The Bastet is back, baby. Scream on top of it with the cat.
Well, don't sound so surprised. You're the one that called it earlier, Ryan. This Bastet has in no means fallen off here in the late game. Fire Giant's going to be going the way of eUnited. 3 kills going the way of eUnited. And actually, with a 5-on-2, they've got a really good chance to do some serious damage to the base of CLG. Tier 2 tower crumbles in the wake of Venenu and PandaCat. Phoenix crumbles in the wake of Venenu and PandaCat. Now only the Titan is standing between Venenu and PandaCat. And victory here in Game 2 up against CLG. Dharmic Pillars come out. No way for them to defend up against 5. eUnited take the set 2-0 over CLG.
Wow, that was all CLG. Finch, CLG was in control. They were winning. They had the fight going their way. And then Scream happened. I mean, sometimes it is that simple. In my mind, I mean, if Scream doesn't win MVP, I don't know what game you guys were watching, because that was all Scream. The pressure that he's able to provide. PBM does great there as well. I mean, he silences out Snoopy, drops the ultimate, strips away the protections, makes sure that Scream's going to be doing that much damage. But the rest of eUnited was on the run. Scream finds 1 kill onto Snoopy, then chases out Homie, makes sure that they have a lot longer to push down that Titan. I mean, if Homie's up, there's no way eUnited wins on that push.
Yeah. You heard it here from Ryan. He's voting for Scream. What about you all? We want to hear in the MVP poll. who was the MVP of that game. And for a while there, you might have been looking for someone to vote for on CLG, but eUnited are the ones that pull it out.
Impressive from eUnited. Clearly back to their Final Four potentially. Maybe not quite there, but looking very good. CLG, 2 tough losses today. Certainly not out of it, though. There's a team with a ton of talent. I think they just had a bad day.
Yeah, this was, we know the CLG roster is better than the performance we saw today, and that's not even to say they looked particularly bad, just ran up against some tough competition. But Tom and Graham, tell us what happened here in this last game, too, on the desk.
Well, poop. I said that CLG were the team to beat, and they just got beat.
They did get beat, but to be fair, that was the best performance we've seen out of them all week. I'm not as worried as I once was after looking at how these games are going. I'm like, is CLG about to just go on a downturn for the rest of the split now? But that last game really showed they are still here. They are still ready to play. Scream had a great performance that game. And not just at the end. Not just at the end. His Bastet there was causing so many problems for CLG from moment one throughout that game. It was a fantastic performance from eUnited, but you can't take it away any from CLG there. CLG had a great game. At most of the stages of that, it started around the Fire Giants where things started to go wrong.
Yeah, I mean, CLG absolutely played their face off, but sometimes Kobe scores 80, right? And,
I guess that's the way.
And that Scream has always had this Bastet, and I think you and I said it during the picks and bans. I said, he's got the cat. You gotta watch out now.
And the Bastet, one thing about the Bastet is it's good against certain gods, right? And Janus is one that they love. They love to try and run the Bastet against the Janus for the chase potential, not just the chase potential, but the dot damage that follows him.
Exactly. He's able to follow up on the Janus very, very well. And this is the composition that eUnited liked. They like to give Scream his oddball characters, whether it's the Arachne or it's the Bastet. But like you said, it has to be against the certain characters, and perhaps more importantly, eUnited has to build around it as well. They do just that. The draft comes through, and this is one of those scenarios where I say it all the time. Equip your carries, equip your players, give them the tools they need to succeed. And this is exactly this. That was hot. This is exactly that
close.
Where you just you give Scream his weapon, and he goes, "Okay, here we go. I've got the Buster Sword."
Funny enough, if you watch this set back and you see how things went until the end, I think Scream probably would have gone a little bit more unnoticed to the general public too, because Venenu was having a great game on the Sol too. He had a nice clean game there, did Venenu, and he was doing good work, but it was really Bastet that was, because Venenu was having a good game, it was allowing Scream to be as crazy.
And I'm glad that you mentioned that, because the capacity, I said eUnited has to build around that. Sol playing, or Venenu playing the Sol, is an important part of this Bastet win, because Bastet's early game is abysmal. So if you're going to play the character Bastet, you have to balance the equation that is your team draft and make sure that you're able to escape that early game. What better god to do that with than a Sol in the mid lane?
Self-PL is definitely going to be really helpful there. So Sol being in that position allows Scream to be as aggressive as he was to chase down the enemies as much as he did in that game. Snoopy looked great. Like that. See what happens? You give him a hunter. You see what happens? You see what happens?
I'm sure he could have done it with the Cullen as well.
Yeah. What was it? 0-7?
No, it was 4-2 and 0.
Oh, that game?
On the Jing way, he went 4-20.
He blazed it in that game, but the game before, completely different story.
I mean, sure. And listen, Snoopy is a great player, and one bad performance does not a player nor a pick make. So I still maintain the fact that Hunters were successful today, but I do maintain the fact that role is malleable.
Agreed, just not warrior malleable or guardian malleable, just assassins, mages, and hunters only. Done.
Well, a fantastic performance from eUnited. Nonetheless, they take down CLGaming in just 2 games. And standing by, we've got PolarBearMike on the horn.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Graham, for taking care of everything for me on the desk. I do have PolarBearMike here, support for eUnited. And I got to ask you, while everything's still fresh here, how was it? Was anyone on the team surprised by Scream's damage there in that last fight? I mean, he was blowing people up.
Yeah, we weren't really surprised. We were just waiting for him to get an opportunity. And I think he did 700 damage to Snoopy instantly off of my ult. And then we basically just snowballed that fight and won off of it.
Yeah, it was nuts, the damage time. I mean, I know you heard us here. We were all like, he's ready to start blowing people up. So what was the energy like in that fight after you get that last hit? I mean, what were the comms like from everyone? Was it like, this is the opening we're looking for, or let's go ahead and push right to end, or what were the comms like?
Pretty calm, honestly. I mean, we were kind of frustrated that game because we made so many mistakes. CLG played super well. I mean, honestly, we probably should have lost. A few of us kind of inted a little bit. But yeah, I mean, once Scream killed, I think Homiefe at their back harpies, he like jumped the humbots out, and then we basically just called the end and played it slow, and we were chilling.
Well, glad you all were able to pull those wins out. I know you're all a little frustrated about it, but y'all look so much better here today after that rust start that you all kind of got off to, and people were starting to wonder maybe if you all were dropping a little bit. I mean, how does it feel to be able to regroup and show that you all definitely were still as strong as we all thought you were?
I mean, it feels okay. I think we're still not playing at a level that we want to yet. I think there's still been a few sloppy games and a few uncharacteristic mistakes, but with how the start of the split went, I mean, can't really complain too much.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't want to ask you to give away too much here, and I do want to let you know Tom does want to give you a bit of a high there, give you a bit of a shout out, but we don't want to get too much away. But do you feel like anything significant has changed with the team, or any kind of big shift where we're seeing, at least results-wise, a little bit of a change here from you all?
Once we started off so poorly, I mean, we definitely had a lot of team talks and just a lot of conversations and calling each other out and holding everybody accountable. But I think we never really kind of flustered on like our confidence in terms of like knowing we could be still like a really dominant team. And I don't think we're quite there yet, but I mean, we're just kind of working to get back to where we were last fall.
Yeah, it certainly looks like it's working right now as you all were able to come out with those couple of victories. I do want to ask you here, are there any teams in North America in particular that you all feel like you're on the lookout for, or that you all feel like are looking particularly strong right now?
I mean, SSG is like the cop-out answer. I think they're probably the easiest ones because they're our scrim partners, and we've probably been scrimming them for the past like 8 months or so, and they're just a super talented team. So I think that's our last set of the split. So that's definitely going to be a very difficult one to win.
No surprise at all. That Space Station team is so strong. I do want to ask you here one more. We've been seeing a lot less traditional hunters. Without giving anything away again here, you got any thoughts on some of these other things you've been seeing here in that hunter role from you in particular, Mike?
I mean, I think people kind of overrate how bad hunters are. I feel like multiple games throughout the last few sets that we've had these past couple weeks, Panda and I are getting kills in lane and getting him super ahead, and he's been hard carrying just like he did last season. I think that there's a little bit more effort and strategy that goes into getting them there rather than them just AFK farming like last season. But yeah, I mean, I still think hunters are really good, and we were 3-0 against the whole like warrior thing today. So, I mean, that's pretty much all there is to it, I feel.
No, I think you're right. They just don't get off to as quick of a start maybe as we're all used to in that hunter role. But before I let you go there, Mike, I do want to ask any kind of shout-outs or anything that you want to give to team, fans, anything like that.
Shout-outs to eUnited, the org. They've been great with us as normal. You know, all the fans have been cheering us on, as well as all the people saying like fake world champs and all that stuff. I love it. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it.
All right. Well, thanks again, Mike, for that interview. That is going to do it here for us, at least on the interview side of things. So just hold around here with me one more moment, but we're going to be getting it going for you all back over on the desk.
Thanks a lot, John Finch, and of course, fantastic stuff from PolarBearMike as always. Personally, one of my favorite players to speak to on the interview. This guy is really knowledgeable, really understands what it is to be both a player and sort of a guardian in all senses of the word for his team. And what a pleasure it's been really seeing him come from the days of Eager, where he was definitely a secondary star, if not a tertiary, and now kind of owning the conversation here, running his squad eUnited, not into the ground, but into the stratosphere. And so take a look at North America and see where everybody winds up here after some performances in our 4th week. Space Station Gaming, well, they're certainly in the stratosphere. They are number 1 by themselves there with 5 wins and just a single loss. eUnited has played 1 more set than them, so they wind up tied there for 2nd, along with CLG and Luminosity. 7 games in total. They're on the other side, 3 wins and 4 losses. But I'd be remiss if I did not say how much faith I have in this Luminosity squad. Watching what Weekend was able to do with the team today, I think is definitely something that the team is going to internalize and bring on later on. Now, of course, we also have the European standings going on as well. That's what we watch during the Wednesday and Friday, or excuse me, the Tuesday and Thursday portion of our SPL week. Energy on top, tied up with Team Arrival, and I don't think there's much surprise there. Emilzi has made his team look fantastic after the support swap, and Team Dignitas rounding up in 3rd. I think what is surprising, perhaps, is the fact that Obey Alliance is down at number 4. Only 2 wins out of their 6 sets that they've played so far, and That support trade, well, I think there's a little bit more working there. Now today, this is a day that if you joined us late, I implore you to watch the footage back. LG, I think, transcended today, watching what they were able to do. A lot of people had painted them with a certain brush, and today they tossed it aside, and they just went for the spray paint, and they showed everybody that LG just might be the team on top, at least the team coming towards the end. That's going to do it for the week 4 of our SPL Split 1. We've got 6 weeks in total, so we're coming down to the nitty-gritty. We've already watched some teams play each other twice, and we're going to watch some of the other teams try and fight back into matchups that they've lost previously. Hopefully they can bounce back, because we all want to see these teams succeed, but only one can be number 1, and that's what we'll be looking forward to. I was actually just going to get into my SPL Happen ending, but this is just an ending for the day. So as well, we have the Smite Minor League going on during the weekend. Make sure you tune in for that. Monday is going to be console, but keep your Monday morning open. We might have a little surprise there for our dedicated Smite fans, and you're going to want to watch it. For myself, my co-commentators, everybody here at hi-rez, and especially you guys, thanks for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow.